Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders over all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. And the sincere salutation to all the ark pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world shedding light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Hawk who are listening, learning. If your sisters who are listening, learning. Coming at you in the lesson, true facts, faith, and edification. Of the day of edification, Lord, will us be edifying. So I titled this lesson, This is why Babylon and these Edomites shall be destroyed. This is why Babylon and these Idumeans shall be destroyed. Now, when I was like my last 20 minutes at the plantation this morning, Elder Hawaii had did a video and he mentioned Numbers 35 and 33. And when he mentioned that, my mind just went to turning. And I thought about this book, which is called Devastation of the Indies, because he mentioned Numbers 35 and 33. And I was just thinking about how this place have to be destroyed, man. North America have to be destroyed. So much bloodshed has been done here from the so-called white man. This place has to be destroyed. And shalom to all the Akim and walk tuning in. Yabba Shema Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. North America is so defiled, man. And this place has to be destroyed because of all the bloodshed that's been done here in America. So when Elder Hawaii had brought out Numbers 35 and 33, I thought about this book, man. So I want to just show these images. Well, it's already on the screen. So what I'm gonna do is so right here you see it's titled The Devastation of the Indies. And this is what these Edomites did when they landed in the islands, when Cristobal Colon, aka Chris Columbus, landed in the islands. This is what they did to the Northern Kingdom. So you see right here, and what they did was hung 13 at a time up, because they used the number 13. That's their number, witchcraft. You can go to Google and look it up. Because these bastards say Yahweh Shai and the 12 disciples was doing witchcraft. I'm assuming that's what this guy Jephthah from One Body in Dallas get that garbage from. Talking about Yahweh Shai and the disciples, because he said it too, was going around doing witchcraft. Talking about Yahweh Shai do no miracles. So if you see right here, this Edomite got the baby, right, by the legs, and finna bash the head against the stone. There's another one when they cutting open the women and ripping their stomachs open that was pregnant. And they was hanging up Jake, Northern Kingdom, 13 at a time. Okay, you see right here, men and women. So I thought about this when the elder had read that verse, man, Numbers 35 and 33. Now, America got to be destroyed, man. This place have to be destroyed. It's so much bloodshed here, man. So then I thought about this guy, Hatui, right? I keep this on my phone. So let me read this. Then I'm gonna get these precepts. So let me pull this first one up. Salakia. I had to open this up. Salakia, bear with me here. Thought I had to open that up. let me get this. So I got these two articles real quick. I'm gonna read. Now this first one say the legend, the legend of Hatui, right? The devastation of the Indies was during this time right here. Check this out. It say legend of Hatui, Hatue. In 1511, Diego Velasquez sailed from Hispaniola, now the Dominican Republic, because that's what Cristobal Colon landed at, on that side, right? To conquer and colonize Cuba. Among his soldiers in that expedition was Hernan Cortez, who later conquered Mexico. And it's crazy because at the plantation, I work at Cracker Barrel, they got a book. Man, it's crazy because they got a book over the fireplace going into this guy, Hernan Cortez, who later conquered Mexico, man. And I was reading the book one night at the plantation. And man, these devils documented everything, man. And I said, man, I might need to get this book. So it's a who later conquered Mexico. When he arrived in Cuba, Velasquez founded the island's first Spanish settlement at Barracoa. Meanwhile, reports from the Indians of Hispaniola reached Cuba. Hatue, a Taino chief, had escaped in canoes with about 400 men, women, and children to warn the Cubans about what to expect from the Spaniards. He explained the need to join against their common enemy, the white men, who had inflicted so much suffering on his people. This is real, man. As later recorded by Spanish priest Bartholomew de las Casas, Hatui showed the Cubans a basket full of gold and jewels. Here is the gold the Spaniards worship, he said. For these they fight and kill. For these they persecute us, and that is why we have to throw them into the sea. They tell us, these tyrants, and when I went to the other lesson the other day, when you go to the word giant, the word giant means tyrant or bully or mighty man. These tyrants that they adore a God of peace and equity, and yet they usurp our land and make us their slaves. They speak to us of an immortal soul and of the eternal rewards and punishments, and yet they rob our belongings, seduce our women, right? There's so many scriptures on that, man. It tell you in Sirach 42 that a father must watch over his daughter, man. Okay, least she abuse herself over much liberty. He say they rob our belongings, seduce our women, violate our daughters. He say violate our daughters. Hold on, what's the rest of that? And it's supposed to say cannot match us in valor, which is war. Hold on, it's missing a piece here. They rob our belongings, seduce our women, violate our daughters. It's supposed to say they cannot match us. Maybe it's clipped off a little bit right here. So it say cannot match us in valor. These cowards cover themselves with iron that our weapons cannot break. See, the Roman Empire, right? North America, they came back in the revived Roman Empire, right? That iron in Daniel's 2. It say, hold on, bear with me here, because for some reason they got some words cut off. I don't know. Let me get it off the phone. I don't know why it ain't showing. Hold on, bear with me here. Let me get it from here. Bear with me. So, what was that? Okay, so it say They tell us, these tyrants, that they adore a God of peace and equity, and yet they usurp our land and make us their slaves. They speak to us of an immortal soul and of their eternal rewards and punishments, and yet they rob our belongings, seduce our women, violate our daughters, incapable of matching us in valor because we're stronger than these bastards, man. Okay? It said these cowards cover themselves with iron that our weapons cannot break. The Tainos, now listen, this is what Hatui is telling these people when he took about four. It said what? He took with him, let me see. It said about 400 men, women, and children to warn the Cubans. So this is what he telling the Cubans. He say, and yet they rob our belongings, seduce our women, violate our daughters, seduce our women, violate Salakia, seduce our women, violate our daughters, incapable of matching us in valor. These cowards cover themselves with iron that our weapons cannot break. The Tainos of Western and Central Cuba could not believe the horrendous message brought by Hatui, and few joined him. It said few, not many. Hatui's strategy against the Spaniards was to attack guerrilla fashion and then disperse to the hills. When the Indians would regroup for the next attack, for about 3 months, Hatui's tactics kept the Spaniards on the defense. Afterward, to leave their fort of Barracool, it's a through a traitor, which has always been like this. When you read in First Maccabees 1 and 11 during the Greek Empire, they tell you that a lot of Israelite men went out to make a covenant with the heathen, right? And when you go to First Maccabees 2, it tell you that Mattathias slew some of these Judite men because they were trying to convince him to follow the king's commandment, which was at the time Antiochus Epiphanes, man. And he killed them, man. It's a this and see this is how Esau get to Jake, man. They use Jake, man. When you go look at the history of the Black Panthers, all these different movements, that's what the man, listen, the NAACP, all this, everything was set up by the so-called white man. But this is what he do, man. It's a through a traitor, Velasquez was able to surround and capture Hatui on February the 2nd, 1512. Hatui was tied to a stake at the Spanish camp, where he was burned alive. Just before lighting the fire, let me scroll down because I'm reading it from the phone, but they got some words clipped off here. Say, Salakia. It's a just before lighting the fire, a priest offered him spiritual comfort, showing him the cross and asking him to accept Jesus and go to heaven. Are there people like you in heaven? He asked. This is the Hatui asking the Spaniard. The Spaniard said, there are many like me in heaven. Answered the priest. Hatui answered that he wanted nothing to do with a God that would allow such cruelty to be unleashed in his name. Which, and that's another thing, hey, Jake don't know the balance of the Lord, man. Say Delicasas described the fate of the Tainos, a village of about 2,500 who welcomed the Spaniards, fed them, and gave them drink, was immediately wiped out once the feast was over. They set upon the Indians, he wrote, slashes, disembowelings, disembowelings. This what Antiochus did to the sons, the 7 sons. Disembowelings, and slaughtering them until their blood ran like a river. Of those sent to the mines, he said, the Spaniards required of them tasks utterly beyond their strength, bending them to the earth with crushing burdens. Then it tell you this in Isaiah 51. It said they walked all over us, man. Hold on, let me get that. And this is all in the scriptures, man. He said right here, sent them to the mines. He said the Spaniards required of them tasks utterly beyond their strength, bending the earth with crushing burdens. Let me get it. In Isaiah 51, these devils got to pay, man. That's why America got to be destroyed, man. South, Central, and North America, man. This is Isaiah 51 in verse 21. Therefore, hear not this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord Yahweh, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. See? So, you better out it again. These devils, man. So he say, again, Delicacies described the fate of the Taínos, a village of about 2,500 who welcomed the Spaniards, fed them, and gave them drink, was immediately wiped out once the feast was over. They set upon the Indians, he wrote, slashes, disembowelings, and slaughtered them, and slaughtering them until their blood ran like a river. Of those into the mines, he said, the Spaniards required of them tasks utterly beyond their strength, bending them to the earth with crushing burdens, harnessing them to loads which they could not drag, like they were some oxes, man, and with finished sports of mockery, hacking off their hands and feet and mutilating their bodies in ways which are not bear this description. And it's in this clip. Let me go back to this. I mean, in this image. Let me go back to this real quick. Also, that first Maccabees 2. And that's why I say, because you always had Jake that sold out, man. And these bastards always had Jake. Jake always sold out, man. They helped the enemy, man. It has always been like this. So let me show this picture again here. The devastation of the enemies, because it said they hacked off their hands. So if you see right here, hold on, let me get rid of this one. If you see this one right here, they hacking off their hands, man. Right here. Right? Um, it said of those sent to the mines, he said, the Spaniards required of them tasks utter beyond their strength, bending them to the earth with crushing burdens, harnessing them to loads which they could not drag, and with finished sport, fiendish sport, and mockery. And what did it tell you in Proverbs 10 and 23? It's a sport to a fool to do mischief. Okay? It's a hacking off their hands and feet and mutilating their bodies in ways which would not bear description. And that's what Antiochus did to the seven sons, man. Aside from being one of the first guerrilla style warriors in Cuba's history, Haitui is the first martyr in the struggle for Cuban independence. Now, let me get this other still. Let me read this. And I just thought about this when the elder had brought out Numbers 35 and 33, man. So this is another article. It's titled Taino's Leader, Hatue. Listen to this, man. Make sure it's sharing. Now they say February the 2nd, 1512, Taino leader Hatue executed in Cuba. Now it reads, little is known about Hatue, a Taino Calque. It's a Calque, but I said Calcue, but it's a Calque when you look it up on Google. It's a leader, which is where Calcu means chief. It said leader right here. It means leader or chief. He was a chief when you look it up on Google. Another translation. It's a and the first prominent freedom fighter of the Americas. Not his date. It's a not his date of birth, nor exactly when the first led his force into battle. It say, but on February the 2nd, 1512, he died at the hands of the European invaders in Cuba, where he arrived to organize resistance the year before. That's when he went to go tell the people. He brought some little bit of gold and said, "This is what they want." It say Hatui's armed resistance began on the islands of Hispaniola, today Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. During the age of Columbus, and probably increased after 1502, when a fleet of 30 Spanish ships brought the new governor Nicolas de Ovando, hundreds of Spanish settlers, and an estimated 100 enslaved Africans to Hispaniola. Spain was continued its search for gold. Now these ain't no African. These was Negroes, uh, uh, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Man, it's a and the Africans were brought to the hard work before the first year was over. Governor Avendo complained to King Ferdinand, that the enslaved Africans fled among the Indians. And this is facts, man. We did this. Okay, Gad and Reuben and them was helping Jake, Judah, man. Benjamin and Levi. Listen. It's a first year was It said before the first year was over, Governor Ovando complained to King Ferdinand that the enslaved Africans, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, fled among the Indians. Why? Because them our brothers, man. It say taught them bad customs and could not be captured. The last four words reveal more than his problem with disobedient servants of his difficult or retrieving runaways in a rain forest. It say Avondale is probably describing the formation of the first American Rainbow Coalition. Hatue and his followers are greeting and embracing the runaway Africans as their allies. That's the Southern and Northern Kingdom, man. Now I say after about a decade of armed resistance in Hispaniola, in 1511, Hatue and 400 of his followers climbed into canoes and headed to Cuba, which I just read. His plan was to mobilize his fellow Caribbean islanders against the bearded intruders and their lust for gold and the slavery, misery, and death it brought. In Cuba, where Hatue's clear message was recorded by the Dominican priest Bartholomew de las Casas, the intruders worship gold, fight and kill, usurp our land and make us slaves. For gold, slaves, and land they fight and kill. For these they persecute us, and that is why we have to throw them into the sea. Now I say Hatue's force, Hatue's forces, Salakia, had to go back and check. Hatue's forces had no sooner begun to mobilize Cubans when well-armed Spaniards under Diego Velasquez landed in Cuba. One was Hernan Cortez, who would conquer Mexico. Hatue's strategy to attack guerrilla fashion and then disperse to the hills and regroup. Right. So I read that in the other article. Now to get this, it say I read that. Right here, this is what I wanted. It's a as the first as the first prominent freedom fighter of the Americas, Hatue not only united Africans and indigenous people against the invaders, but in bringing his people and fighters from Hispaniola to Cuba, he initiated the first Pan-American resistance struggle. Today, a statue in Cuba celebrates Hatui as a national hero. It's a as the first prominent freedom fighter of the Americas. Hatui not only united Africans and indigenous people against the invaders, but in bringing his people and fighters from Hispaniola to Cuba, he initiated the first pan meaning all, first Pan American resistance struggle. Today, a statue in Cuba celebrates Hatui as a national hero. So, yeah, I just want to read this. I was reading this article because it's my first time seeing this one. But I thought about this when the elder Hawar had brought that out, man. And it was always Jake when he brought out numbers 35 and 33. And it was always Jake that sold out, man. So let me get a couple of these precepts. And that's why this place got to be destroyed, man. These devils got to pay, man. So I'm finna get first. This is Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. And it reads, whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. So these devils came over here. This is Numbers 35, 33, and brought rape, robbery, murder, pillage, and plunder, and diseases, man. This is Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. Blood defileth the land. This in North America, man, so much blood. North America, Babylon the Great, and Canada, man. Okay, they did school that was just mentioned last year or year before. I think it was last year. It may be year before because these years move by so fast, man. That they found over like 500. I think they said between 500 and 800 bodies, man, of gad, man, bones under the school, man, or in a graveyard by the school in Canada, man. Jake, Numbers 35 and 33. So you shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And that's why I tell you that in Micah 2 and 10, man. Arise and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It's so much filth here in Babylon the Great because of the so-called white man. So you shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it, man. Okay? So the one that shed all the blood, his blood got to be shed, man. That's called balance. That's cold, man. Because these devils never thought they had to pay for this. In Habakkuk, this is Habakkuk uh, 2 and 12, which is a precept to Numbers 35 and 33. At least that's how I use it. Habakkuk 2 and 12, the apostle did do too. It say, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. Every time I heard the apostles bring out number 35 and 33, used to always bring this verse out. Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. And even when you go and look up the history, when you go look up about the French, the Spanish, and the British, fight here in Babylon the Great, man, to colonize America. It was all through bloodshed of their own people, man. It's so much blood that's been shed in America, man. This place have to be destroyed, man. It gotta go. Now I want to get this, because on that picture it showed you that they was taking the baby by the feet, by the leg, and doing what? Bashing the head against the stone, right? And hanging up Jake, Northern Kingdom 13 at a time. The second Kings 8 and 12. And Hazael said, why weepeth my Lord? And he answered, because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds will thou set on fire. And that's what the Spaniards did, man. Okay? They destroyed our stronghold, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right? During the time of Jerusalem. They came over here and destroyed the northern kingdom strongholds, man. That's what this devil do. All he do is bring bloodshed, man. And that's why I tell you in Ezekiel 35, since thou don't hate blood, the Lord say, blood shall pursue thee, man. Because see, he done shed so much blood, man. Man, in Hebrews 12, he can't repent, man. They can't repent. So what's left for these bastards? He lost the blessing and the birthright, which was never his anyway. But all they can do is just use the sword, man. All they got is the sword. So they got to use it. And as I said, the Greek Empire, right, the beginning rulership of the so-called white man, is when he established what the Lord had them to establish the sword, right, to establish themselves. The Roman Empire is when they magnified their sword, right? North America, Babylon the Great, the so-called white man's rulership right now, okay, because he ruled all four corners of the earth. This is when he perfected his sword. And they tell you in Isaiah 47, it's in that perfection shall the judgment come, which I'm going to read. So again, it say, and Isaiah said, "What weeping, my Lord," talking to Elisha. And Elisha answered, because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel, their strongholds wilt thou set on fire, and their young men wilt thou slay with the sword, and will dash their children and rip up their women with child. And that's why King David said what he said, man, about remember Edom, right? Let's get there. Remember Edom for what he have done, man. They're gonna do what? They're gonna burn down our strongholds and take our young and kill our young men with the sword and dash our children and rip up our women with child, man. Psalm 137 and 7. It reads, remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. And the Lord is coming back to do this, man. That's why I tell you in Isaiah 63 and 4 that the vengeance burneth in Yahweh shall heart to return. Verse 9 reads, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Isaiah 13 and 16. These devils got to pay, man. This Isaiah 13 and 16, it reads, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. And the same way these devils hung up Jake and killed our children before they killed the men, right? They killed the children, raped your wife, and then they killed you, man. But they made you watch before all that happened. I remember this movie. What's this movie? Uh, Something Waters. The movie about the Katrina hurricane that hit Louisiana. I forgot the name of the movie. It's called Something Waters. And the one dude that he was like a dope boy before the flood came, but after the flood came, he was like the guy saw him. He later saw him. He was like working at a grocery store, But before the flood, he was like a dope boy. And he took his brother and killed his brother in front of him. And he let the guy live. I forgot the name of the movie. Something Waters. I forgot what it was. But it was a movie about Louisiana when Katrina had hit. He left him he let him live, but he killed his brother, killed his family. So that's what these Edomites did, man. They rape your wife in front of you, killed your children, and then or they ate your children because that book. I got this book, Delectable Negroes, man. They made they made wallets and purses and belts out of our skin, man. Okay, and they ate, and these Edomites was eating Jake, man. And they tell you in the book, they like the way our flesh tastes, man. Again, Isaiah 13 and 16, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. And this is the one thing that we ain't gonna do is ravish their wives, man. When the kingdom of heaven is established. But this gonna happen on this side. These 2/3. Now you got these heathens gonna escape to them caves, to them bunkers until it's time to go in slavery. But that's one thing that we ain't gonna do, man. If there ain't no virgin women, we're gonna take their daughters. So this is Michael. Hey, these devils gotta pay, man. And then when you read in Habakkuk 2, man, the Lord says, shame for spewing shall be on their glory. This is Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. And this place is defiled, man. This place is defiled. Yep. Let me see. Yeah, man. I was just the elder has said that, man. I was just thinking about all the wickedness that the so-called white man has done. Let's read this from Shapata 12. Ezekiel 35 and 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. In the time, it's in the time of that calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. To say, therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And the Lord is so beautiful, man, that these devils drink blood, they eat their meat raw, man. Because they don't hate blood. They love blood, man. And I'm looking at the news, right? The world is made. Babylon the Great is really crumbling, man. So I was listening to the news this morning. They was going into how TikTok, they said TikTok is digital fentanyl, man. And it shouldn't they said it shouldn't be in the schools, what they said. Not in the rest of the world. It shouldn't be in the schools. They call TikTok, they call it digital fentanyl, man. And that fentanyl, there's been a lot of police down here that be making arrests and they just touch the fentanyl from finding people's cars. They've been dying from it, man. So then they said that these devils keep hiking up inflation, man. They keep hiking up the rates. It said this is the 10th hike in 14 months, man. Okay. In 14 months, it's been 10 hikes. So inflation. But this is how they got to crash this currency, man, to bring in that digital currency, man. And this is all done by the so-called white man. And this is Ezekiel 35 and 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. These devils is destroying the earth, man. They already did it when they shed the blood, man. So it's just a matter of time before this place be destroyed, man. But we watching it. We watching how North America is falling. The wickedness of this place is unfolding. Oh, and also this chick, Olympic gold medalist. I was looking at this too. Her name was Tori Bowie. She won gold medals, different type, over 20 medals in 2018. She dead, man. They said she died. No, 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 no foul play on her death, man. She was healthy, man. Hey, the Lord killed Flojo. The Lord killed what is his guy named Carl Lewis. They was healthy, man. So all that bodily, and it tell you in First Timothy that bodily exercise profit little. It profit, but if you ain't putting in the truth first, man, you wasting your time, man. And this so-called white man got all these social medias, and everything is called what they call it dopamine hits from these different social medias, man. Everybody can you can be your own idol. The so-called white man has destroyed the earth, man. This place is defiled, man. First and foremost, from the bloodshed of our people, man. All the bloodshed the so-called white man has done in the earth, man. Let me get this in over there. Everybody being their own idol. And man, it's so much death going on down here. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do know what's going on. The Lord is jacking people's up down here, man. And it's everywhere. It ain't just here. It's bad, man. There's so much death going on in the world, man. But this last week, it's been so many deaths down here in America, man. Down here in Orlando. Shootings, man. I'm talking about every day, all through the day, man. People dying in numbers, big numbers, man. The love of many is waxing cold. This Obadiah 1 and 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off. And to tell you in Ezekiel 35 and 11, the Lord say, for the envy, because they hate, they envy us, man. They envy us, man. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. This is when the Babylonians came in, man. Matter of fact, when you go to let me pull this up real quick. When you go to the Apocrypha, because remember, King David said in Psalm 137, remember Edom, O Lord, who said, raise it, right? Which is bring it down, destroy it, bring it down. So when you go to, let me get this in First Ezra. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna get First Ezra 1 and 45. Cause these devils help, man. They have always helped, man. That's what they do. All they do is bring, Second Thessalonians 2, they call him the man of sin, the son of perdition, right? The son of perdition, man. All they do is bring destruction, man. With that second Ezra, is that 4? I think it is. Let me see. 4 and 45, I think it is. No, maybe First Ezra. Salaki. Hold on. All they do is the man of sin, man. The son of perdition, man. That's what they do, man. I think it's First Ezra. Bear with me here. Cause they was there, man. They helped, man. Yeah, this is First Ezra chapter 4, verse 45. It reads, thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. See, First Ezra 4 and 45, thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. So when King David said this, let's go back to this 137 and 7. When the Babylonians was taking down Jerusalem, Esau was there, man. Psalm 137 and 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So they was there rooting on, saying, take it down. They was there too. So again, Obadiah 1 and 12, it reads, but thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. And I brought this out the other day, that the Lord gave Esau Edom the mouth to speak blasphemies, man. Okay, the Lord did that purposely, man. See, there is no escaping the judgment that's about to come on these bastards, man. I was gonna get I was just something I just listened to the elder this morning, man. I'm just going through the spirit. I just want to make the point about these devils, write down and show you. And that's what the Lord, it is heavy because that's why the Lord set up the unicorn, man. Because, oh, let me get this. Because in Job 36, right? In Job 36, let me start here in verse 5. This is why the unicorn on the internet was set up, man. This is Job 36 and 5. Behold, power is mighty and despises not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He preserves not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yeah, he doeth establish them forever. Right? That's what's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. You shall sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel and all the nations. They say, and they are exalted. Here's the point. The Lord set up this, hey, he showed us all the things that we did, man. Because of this, we sinned against the Lord. This is Job 36 and 8. And if they be bound in fetters and be holding in cords of affliction, which is these bodies, then he showeth them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. See, this was it, man. So when we get to go on Google and pull up, oh, when the scriptures say, he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Well, when you go to Google, what does it say? When you pull up the image, who had yokes of iron on their neck, right? So we get to see and read all these stories about all these things that happened, man. The Devil's Punch Bowl in Mississippi, down here in Rosewood, Florida, what these bastards did to Central Park in New York, which was called Seneca Valley. I did a video on that years ago, a couple years ago. Seneca Valley, man. And in Seneca Valley, which is Central Park today in New York, that was Gad and Judah, man, living together up there, man. So the Lord say again, Job 36 and 9, then he showed them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. Well, he showed it to us at right here in America. So now we get to go on Google. Oh, these bastards making movies. Birth of a Nation, 12 Years a Slave. What's this movie? Umstead, right? The Lord got these bastards making movies about us, man. This is new movie with Will Smith, man. With this one guy that had the whips on his back, man. Okay? Anytime you pull up a yoke of iron image, he one of the ones that come up, man. The one that had the yoke of iron, he had all the big whips on his back, who Will Smith played him in the movie. Then he showed them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded, man. Right here in Babylon, the Great America, man. And you got this guy who got this book, who had these little, he made these little years ago, a few years ago. He's still on YouTube somewhere if you put it up. He got these little different figurines of the babies in the gator mouth, man. I know y'all seen it. I saw it some years ago. You got the little figurines of the little gator with the baby in the gator mouth. When these devils was taking the women babies, feed them to gators. The Lord say what? Job 36 and 9. Then he showeth them their work, the wickedness that we have done. Hey, the sins that we did, hey, this is the work. And the transgressions that they have exceeded, man. So right here in Babylon the Great, man, first and foremost, the Lord showed us our transgressions that he said, then he showeth them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded, man. So these devils got to pay for all this, man. And the list, man, it's this devil has done so much wickedness to us, man. Why? Because they envy us. In Ezekiel, let's go back to this. And I've been on these bastards heavy lately, man. I can't help it. Hey, the vexation in the spirit, man. This is Ezekiel 35:11. That's why when we read about Noah, say he was vexed, man. Vexed, man. They turn this place. You can be your own idol. You can worship whatever God here, man. You can worship any idol here, man. Any idol. Don't matter what it is. You can do it. You can transform yourself to a transformer for real. You wanna be an Autobot or Decepticon. Go ahead. And we'll pay for it if that's what you want. You can't afford to transform to a Autobot or Decepticon. We'll pay for it for you. Ezekiel 35:11. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will even do according to thy anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. See, the so-called white man envy you, Jake. He envy us, man. They envy us. That's what the movie Get Out was about, man. Them trying to transfer their souls, into our bodies, man. What a boy say? What movie was this? I be watching so many movies. Oh, he say, oh, Blue Hill Avenue. That's my movie. He said, you can never be me. Hey, you can never be us, Esau. Never. Hey, and as the brother always said in the camp, man, the head brother in the Hoya, hey, on our worst day, man, on our worst day, man, you're an Israelite, man. Even on your worst day, think about that, man. Think about on your worst day, at least I ain't an Edomite. Ezekiel 35:11. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And I brought this out the other day. Let me get the precept to back that up. The Lord said, I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. This is Sirach. Let's get this. And Sirach 36, right? Let's get this. You can never be me. Oh boy, say, you can never be me. Esau can never be us, man. But they envy you, Jake. They don't know what's going on, man. It's a this is Rock 36 and verse. I'm gonna start at 1. Have mercy upon us, O Yahweh, power of all, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. As thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. And let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no power but only thy own power. See, so going back to Ezekiel 35:11, he say, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. When you get as a matter of fact, let's get this in Ezekiel 39. And see, these devils think it was them, man. No, it wasn't you, man. The Lord let you do that because we sin against the Lord, man. It had nothing to do with us being weak. It was these bastards say we're on the 3/5 of man, talking about the men of Israel, right? They smarter than us. You ain't smarter than the average Jake. No so-called white person is smarter than the average Jake, man. Not one of them, man. Years have been dumbed down okay, through white supremacy, okay, and them having the upper hand on the media, because they say, man, and you know what's cold too? Because Elder Malcolm, man, Elder Malcolm, man, beautiful spirit, man, because he went into them points, how these bastards, and it's in their statistics, man. There are more so-called white people on Section 8 HUD, Habitat housing, Social Security disability stamps. It's more 51, 61% more white people on all this government assistance. And it should be because this is their kingdom. It's more so-called white people that's committing crimes in America and around the world. It's more what we dealing with here in Babylon the Great. 51 to 61% of all the crime, of all the being on government assistance is so-called white people, man. And it's supposed to be that way because this is their kingdom. Hey, you know what's cold? I was thinking about this too. So when they passed the bill for women to work, right? Women's liberation, that was putting their women in the workplace, right? Right. What did that mean? That's when their kingdom was falling, man. That was in the 60s, man. Right? The Lord is cold, man. That's when their kingdom was falling. So they had to put their women to work. We'll never put our women to work, man. Okay? In the kingdom of heaven, hey, Solomon and King David never had women working, man. And hold on. Do not the so-called white man control all the resources? You could put a number on Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos, right? You could put a number on these so-called ones that got the bag. They don't got no money, man. You can't put no number on the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Waltons. You can't put no number on that because they control all the resources. But there's a number on Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They got a number, maybe 3, 4 billion, 60 million, whatever. There's a number on them, man. How come they control all the resources and they women is working, man? The Rothschilds' wives, Rothschilds, Oppenheimers, those elites, they wives ain't working, man. What does that tell you, Edomite people out there in the world, man? Your people don't care about you, man. Because their women don't work. Okay? They children don't have to go to college and go to school. Oh, you gonna go to college and take this trade and take over? No, they sons don't have to go to college, man. The money is there, man. The businesses is there if they want it, man. They don't got to go and train your mind through white supremacy. They women don't work. So why you low level so-called white people women, why they work, man? That's when their kingdom start to fall, man. When they put them women out, when they put their space station amongst the stars, they put their women to work, man. The so-called white man's kingdom began to fall. This is Ezekiel 39 and 23. It reads, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Right? And the heathen shall know, Ezekiel 39 and 23, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into thine hand, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. See, this is why, man. It had nothing to do with the so-called white man having more. He's stronger than us. He's mind stronger than us. He has more power than us, man. It has nothing to do with that, man. It was the power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh, man. So yeah, Lord was edifying. Just something I was meditating on when the elder had brought out that number 35 and 33, man. America gotta be destroyed, man. This place is so defiled, man. First with the bloodshed, of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Because when you go to Joel 3, it tells that they cast lots for his people, man. What does that mean? Auctioning blocks, man. Wall Street was builded. Wall Street was established. The stock exchange right now was established. The first stocks was Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians sold on auctioning blocks, man. Okay? America was built off the blood, sweat, and tears off the backs of so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, man. Everybody know this, man. But then you have some slow belly Edomites or heathen or Jake, whoever, come on the comment board and talk trash, man. When all this is facts, man, all of it. And guess what? Before we had the unicorn, the World Wide Web, the Lord got it written down in the scriptures, man. They cast lots for my people, right? Let's read that. Let me close with this. They have cast lots for my people, man. Joel 3. Hey, and again, as Elder Malcolm went into that, these devils, man, it's more of them on these government assistants, man. It ain't Jake, man. It's these Edomites. And it's the Edomites that bring more crime in them. It's them that's doing all the crime in America, man. But they control the media. So they can say, oh, Jake on Jake crime is at an all-time high. They can say that. Listen, man, who make the guns, man? No Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians don't own no guns, man. Okay? They don't own guns, man. They don't own no warehouses. What is steel? Like I was saying this a while ago, we don't even know where we get the iron from to make the guns, the steel. Where we gonna get it from? The blue steel and all that, man. That's Esau trait. This is Joel 3. Let's start at 1. See, the nations will be judged. Now you can read that in Jeremiah, what is that? Jeremiah 25, man. Starting at 14 on down to like 31, man. All 17 heathen nations will be judged, man, for putting your hand on us. The nations will be judged. Joel 3 and 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations to do what, Lord? And will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat, to do what, Lord? And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. And I love to read, hey, that Isaiah 54 and 17, the Lord say, this is a heritage of servants, man. You hear this? I will also gather all nations, these 17 heathen nations. The Lord created 18 nations, the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and nations are one nation. 12 tribes, one nation. The other 17 heathen nations, the Lord said, what? I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And it's cold because he said all nations, because guess what? 2/3 of our people want to fight for the so-called white man in the war. These women, equality act rights. Okay, you're going to die like a man then. You want to fight? You want to be equal as a man? Then you're going to die like a man. You women out there. You 2/3 women, you're going to die like men. I will also gather all nations. 2/3 of our people is fighting, men and women, fighting the war for the so-called white man, and you're going to die there. And will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. Whom, what do they do, Lord? Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Hold on. They part the Lord's land? Don't the so-called Jews say that's the land of the Lord? Well, who's in it? Israelis and Palestinians, which is Edomites, so-called white man, and so-called Arabs. Okay, Edomites and Ishmaelites, man. Edomites, so-called white people, and Ishmaelites, Arabs, man. Okay, and have parted my land, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. You see? That's called auctioning blocks, man. And have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine. Listen, man. The so-called white man did that, man. Okay? So all the rape, robbery, murder, pillage, and plunder these devils done did right here in Babylon the Great, they got to pay for it, man. And there's so much going, there's so much death out here, man. MDK everywhere you look, man. All in the news. I'm talking about world news, local news. Listen, number death, man. Death, bloodshed, man. Because the scriptures say, the brother posted Ezekiel 35, they don't hate blood, man. And since they pursue blood, blood's gonna pursue them, man. And there's uproars in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, in Colombia, in Haiti, Dominican Republic. Okay, there's uproars in um um what is Colombia? Uh, what's this other place? Venezuela. Um, I can't think. It can't. It's on my tongue. I can't get it out. In South, let's just say it like this: in Central and South America, where Jake is scattered at, man, all over the world. But I'm talking about these places like um Chile, uproars in Chile, man, Argentina, Cuba, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Venezuela. Man, there's uproars everywhere. Why? Because of the so-called white man. All this to be covered the so-called white man. That's what the Lord said in Habakkuk 2. Shame for spewing shall be on his glory, man. Man, let me close with that, man. This devil has done so much in the earth, man. You can't come back from it. And that's why the Lord already had it predestinated that he can't repent, man. And when you read in Hebrews 12, what is that, verse 17? He can't repent, man. The Lord already had it predestinated that this bastard was going to do so much death, so much wickedness in the earth, man. He can't come back from this, man. In Habakkuk chapter uh, 2, let's start here at 6. They tell me the debt clock, right? 30 some trillion. The debt clock, it's over I spelled this wrong. It's over 200 trillion, man. It's really over 200 trillion, man. 300 trillion, man. What's going on? So lucky I keep spelling this wrong. Moving too fast. It's Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. And this is what's going on right now, man. It say, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? And that's what this is. And that's why I tell you in Joel 15 and 20, Joel 15 and 21, a dreadful sound is in his ears. Because this is a taunting proverb to these devils, man. And also in Jeremiah 50 and 43, the king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands wax feeble, man. Because this is a taunting proverb to these Edomites, man. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And this also applied, could tell you, but gather unto him all nations and heap unto him all people. So everybody's against this bastard, man. And going back to Daniel's 2, it say, when you read Daniel's 2, I think in verse 43, it said that Edomites, the so-called white man, shall mingle himself with the seed of men, but they should not cleave one to another. So you got the seed of men, which is the 16 heathen nations. Then you got the sons of the wicked, which is the Edomites, the so-called white man. Then you got the sons of God. There's 3 classifications of men. Okay, the sons of the wicked, the Edomites, the so-called white man, the sons of men, right? You got the sons of the wicked, which is the Edomite, the so-called white man, the sons of men, which is the heathen nation, the 16 heathen nations. Then you got the sons of God, which are the Israelites. So It say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his, and to him that laden himself with thick clay, which is that about it, which is thick, which is debt, man. In America's, $200-300 trillion of debt, man. Ain't no 32-31 trillion, man. It's 200 trillion plus, man. And that might be a small number. It says, shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? And that's why I tell you in Job, it said all the hand of the labor is going to come upon these bastards. Isaiah 14, it said it stirred up the dead for him, man, which is these heathen nations. Shall not, because they don't got no spirit of the Lord, man. So they all dead. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. That's and that's what it said in Ezekiel 32, Ezekiel 28:7. His Lord said He's gonna bring the worst. He said He's gonna bring the terrible of the nations against these Edomites over here in Babylon, man. It say, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Why? Because of men's blood. See, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. See, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. See, this is about the rich stay rich. This is about them keeping the money for themselves, man. It's a woe to him that cover an evil covetousness to his house. You're reading in Sirach 14, please after 14. So he's a nigga out at his own table, man. It said he's envious at his own portion, man. And they own all the resources. Okay, you can't put a number on resources, man. But they still not satisfied. It say that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil, which he ain't. And the power of evil mean a bad time, right? Listen, you finna go into them bunkers and run. You finna run to your bunkers, and that's where you're gonna be at till we peel the top back on them and put you in them chains, boy. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and has sinned against thy soul. See? For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. Behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? Yeah. Why do the heathen rage, man? And imagine a vain thing, like it said in Psalms 2. Because it said what? They shall labor in the very fire, man. Obadiah 1:18. Because the end goal for these bastards is to what? Be part of a big bonfire, man. Verse 15 reads, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, which is their policies, right? Oh, I went to yesterday, and these devils messed with my two clips and two videos I did, right? They was messing with the audio, man. And his drink is his what is called economic warfare, man. Economic warfare, man. Okay, before a physical war starts, it always starts with economic warfare, man. By cutting off and making people take use your policies, use your money. Okay? Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth the bottle to him, and maketh him drunk also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And that's why I tell you in Jeremiah 49:12, man. You're gonna drink too and be naked. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Jeremiah 49:10. The Lord said he made Esau bare, man. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned upon thee, and shame for spewing shall be on thy glory. Look, verse 17 reads, for the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee. Where's Lebanon at, man? Where's Lebanon at, man? What's going on over there, man? A bunch of violence? Go see what Lebanon at, and go pull up and go to Israel TV and find out what's going on for the violence of Lebanon. You will see. Go to YouTube and type in Israeli TV, man. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein, man. Yeah, these bastards got to pay, man. They got a lot to pay for, man. And they can't escape this judgment. But what they're going to try to do is escape in them bunkers, man, in them mountain retreats. Oh, in the movie 2012, right? In the movie 2012 with Danny Glover, right? What they show you in that movie, man? Hey, and the apostle said some years ago, man, when you watch these movies, he said before you came into the truth, you watched a lot of movies. Rewatch them movies again in the truth, man. And watch the movie. Now you got that spiritual eye. Listen, what did let me in the movie 2012, what did you see? Let me tell you what I saw. I saw, and I was watching the news this morning, and they were showing this bastard Chuck Schumer, right? They're going back and forth about the interest rates because they said this is the tenth interest rate hike in 14 months, man. But inflation got to happen. So it's gonna get the hyperinflation till it ain't gonna be nothing, man. Okay, they got to crash the dollar. This is gonna bring about the micro C here, man. Mandate that. But when they was talking, right? Let me tell you something about these Edomites here, man. They don't care about nobody but their own houses, man. They don't care about the Democrats supposed to be for the regular folk, and the Republicans supposed to be for the higher ups or whatever, right? Same thing with the Flavians and the patricians, man. One was for the common folk, one was for the upper class. Listen, they don't care about you. Shalaka, they don't care about you, man. In the movie 2012, they showed you the only one that's going to escape the judgment, or as they appear to be escaping. Continue in Amos 9, they shall not escape, right? But they gonna get, they gonna get to go into those bunkers. In that movie 2012, they showed you the only one that's going to get away and escape is those that was counted, man. Okay? And they tell you that in Revelation about they shall kill them. That word kill go to not to be counted, man. Okay? These bastards showed you in the movie. The only one that got a chance to make it is those that's a part of the system, man. I ain't talking about these low levels. Cause you got a lot of Edomite, a lot of Jakes that have made it to the Congress, to the Senate. They ain't gonna make it, man. These Edomites is only for these Edomites, man. And they tell you, the brother put it up. Revelation 6 and 15, which is one of the precepts. And said to the mountains and the rocks, follow on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Verse 15, and the kings of the earth and great men and rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. And I was thinking about how they sent out a list, right? What other movie was that? It was another movie. Um, was it the Knowing? No, that was it the Core? Not the Core. What's the other one? With I think that was the one they had to go and drill on the asterisk on the meteorite that was coming to hit Earth. What was that? They got the one with Bruce Willis, but they sent out a list, right? 'Cause I remember the boy and the girl when they got married, so he can get her in because his family had got in. I forgot the movie. It was either the Core or it was another one of those end time movies. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Salaki, bear with me. Oh, so the list that went out, right? They already got numbers of people that's already gonna be on the list that can get in. Everybody else got to die, man. It's already and the number and on the list is gonna be doctors, right? Maybe a couple of nurses because you're gonna need these RPNs and these certain but it's gonna be these higher up ones, the main doctors, right? It's gonna be the main electricians and plumbers, right? The main carpenters, right? It's gonna be these main ones on the list, and those are ones of low level. But they're gonna because they think they're gonna get the rebuild, right? The rise of the phoenix, all this garbage out of the ashes, right? Which is not a real bird, by the way. But they think they're gonna be able to rebuild because that's what they say. Was that Psalm 49, right? Malachi 1, right? So they're gonna have these carpenters, the top carpenters and plumbers and electricians, and these different. But then it's gonna be those that's at the Senate House, those that's at the Pentagon, right? They showed you in the movie. They showed you Independence Day, right? They showed you in 2012. They only gonna grab those, man, and that's gonna be it. But they ain't going nowhere until them bunkers, man. That's in the mountain retreats where they got those what they call the ark, two of every animal, 30 million seed bank, right? That's it, man. They ain't going nowhere, man. Cause they gotta pay for their judgment, man. You can't leave Earth. So they can only thing they can do, the Lord giving them that illusion that they can escape, man. But they can't go nowhere. So just some points I was meditating on these pastors. Hey, these pastors got to pay. They going down. They going down, man. Lord was edifying. Got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Bahashim Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishop and elders of great millstone rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders over all Israel, whether accepted or not. And the sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waiting on the hopeful elect. Shed light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwat who are listening and learning. You few sisters who are listening and learning. Shalom, GMS, Amawan, Abad. Shalom, brother. Yabba Shema Shah Brakatah. All you beautiful brothers. Akim and Akwaf, Shalom. Yabba Shema Shah. Hey, Lord was edifying. Stay prayed up. Stay prayed up, man. Till next time, I say Shalom. Wa Abba Abba. Oh, yeah. Shabbat Shalom.